Okay, so in the previous video I tied a buzzer, and just a basic epoxy buzzer, just to give you an idea of what it is and the tying sequence of a buzzer. But there's a lot more to buzzers and that group of invertebrates than just a little worm-like insect. Now I'm going to refer back to Christian Frey's book again, titled A Field Guide to Freshwater Macroinvertebrates of Southern Africa. And I'm going to concentrate a little bit on chironomids, which are also referred to as non-biting midges. And it's very interesting, and you should really get the book. I'll put a reference down there. It's available in a few places in South Africa. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get it online, but I know that frontierflyfishing in Johannesburg keep them. And I'll put a link down below. So the chironomids are generally slightly bigger insects and or invertebrates, and quite often when we fish bloodworms, we think of them as worms, but those are actually chironomid larvae, or midge larvae rather, and in the chironomid family, and they can be various sizes. They grow up to about 20 millimeters, and that is where flies like atomic worms and those sort of things, that's what they actually imitate. It's not a worm, it's a larva. And the adult insect will come out of that. So again, there are various ways of tying these flies and imitating them, and very interesting, the color of these larvae depends on the water quality. Some and it's obviously different species, but he gives a very good explanation of why some of them are red and why some of them are more of an olive or greeny color. And then there's over 15,000 different species worldwide, of which between 300 and 400 of those species occur in South Africa. So you can understand why it's quite an important food source to trout. And it's always I would say it's always a good fly to carry in your fly box. So the tying sequence for this is going to be very much the same as a normal buzzer, as the one I did in the previous video. I'm just going to change the color. I'm going to do a red one. I tie it on the grip 14582 because they have slightly longer profiles, and this is a size 14, which is about, let me put a ruler next to this. This is about 15 mil. Now you can tie these. I've tied atomic worms up to about I've tied them in size 8s on the same hook, which are quite big. There's one there. You can see the size. And there is a video for this atomic worm as well that we've been very successful with for trout. Now, again, you tie you cover the hook shank with thread. I'm going to use a black microflash rib again, as what I did in the previous video. Let's get a piece here, and you tie that in the back. And then wrap forward again with your thread. Make sure those wraps are neat and next to each other. To about there. And then you wrap your microflash to create that rib. Make it open wraps. You want that red to shine through, to come through, and the black must just be a rib. can tie that off right there. Now for the cheeks, I'm going to use, instead of a bright colored Danville flat waxed, I'm going to use white. This color. It doesn't appear white when you look at it on the spool, but it is a white flat waxed, and you'll see now why I'm using that. If you look at a photo of the actual invertebrate of the larva, you will see that there's no prominent cheeks on the thorax. So you tie this in the same way. You wrap around fold it around the thread and tie it to the bottom of the hook backwards, and then take your thread forward. So the red will definitely shine through as soon as there's some UV resin on this. You build that thorax again. You build that up a bit with a few layers of thread, and again make your thread wraps next to each other. And that is, and you just wrap that, tie that down. So obviously it takes a bit longer on a bigger fly because you need a few more thread wraps, and you need to make sure that those wraps are nice and next to each other and oval shaped. And you grab one of the pieces of flat wax, and you fold that forward and tie it off on top, and then you grab the other one. You tie that off on top as well. And then you can cut those off. And tie them down and we'll finish the fly. Or the thread rather. And you can cut that thread, and then you go through the same sequence of coating the fly with UV resin. Now if you start with you start again with a drop of thin UV resin over the thorax, and then you coat the abdomen. And you will see now why I'm using white UV or white flat wax rather than a different color on this. Coat that like that. You can see how that light, when light shines onto that UV or onto that flat wax, it actually shines through. As soon as you put the light off, there's nothing there. And you don't want it to be too prominent. You cure that, and then you coat the rest of the fly with UV resin. And make sure you coat it all round and give it a good even coat. Very thin, even coat. And there's a little bloodworm or chironomid larva. And you can see the reason for tying it on a different hook, not tying it on the normal 14711 grip. I tie it on a longer hook. It's a longer fly. They appear longer in the water. They're not curled up, and that's the way I fish them as well. And that's the chironomid or bloodworm. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel and share your comments. Thanks for watching.